All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest misunderstandings about AI. Seriously, by the end of this, you'll have a brand new and way more accurate way of thinking about how this tech actually works. Because the secret isn't really the AI model itself, it's the entire system that's built around it. This is the question on everyone's mind. We see a response from an AI and we immediately try to size it up. Is it a genius? Did it just make a silly mistake? Is it actually thinking? It feels like the most natural question in the world to ask. But what if I told you that the question itself is the problem? Yeah, our source material is really clear about this. Asking if the model is smart or dumb, well, that's starting from the wrong place. Because, as you're about to see, the thing you're actually interacting with isn't just a model. And that brings us to the single most important idea we're going to talk about, the difference between an AI model and an AI system. Trust me, getting this distinction right is absolutely essential if you want to build anything that works reliably in the real world. So, what's the difference really? Okay, think of it this way. The model, at its heart, is just one piece of the puzzle. It's like the engine in a car. But the system, that's the entire car. The chassis, the wheels, the dashboard, everything. What you actually experience, what you interact with, comes from the whole system that's built around that engine. Let's get a little more specific and zoom in on what a model actually is. The formal term is a probabilistic token generator. I know, it's a mouthful, but all it really means is that it's a prediction engine. It just calculates the next most likely word or token in a sentence. Now, look closely at what's not on that list. Memory, intent, understanding. It's not thinking, it's just running statistical predictions. Okay, so that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If the model is just a prediction engine, why do the answers feel so different from one moment to the next? Why does it feel so inconsistent sometimes? Well, the answer isn't in the model, it's inside the system stack. And this is the absolute key right here. The model, the part that gets all the headlines and all the hype, it's just one single layer in a much larger, much more complex piece of software engineering. It never, ever acts alone. So what's actually in this stack? Well, before your prompt even gets to the model, the system is already doing a ton of work. It might route your question to a completely different, more specialized model. It could use retrieval to pull in some specific data to give the model more context. It applies all these pre-written instructions that shape the output. And even after the model spits out a response, the sampler configuration tweaks the final wording. Every single one of these is a control knob, and all of them working together is why your experience can change so dramatically. Now that we see all these engineered layers, we can talk about where this distinction between model and system matters the most in really high-stakes situations. This is where we need to draw a very, very hard line between the AI giving you some analysis and a system actually taking action. We call this the approval boundary. Think about the jump from a simple chatbot that writes a poem to an AI system being used in a factory or hospital or bank. In those kinds of places, separating the AI's suggestion from the final action isn't just a nice to have, it's a critical safety requirement. And this diagram just illustrates that point perfectly. Look, on the left, you've got the assistive AI. It's doing analysis, it's making recommendations. On the right, you have the actual operational systems, the systems of record. And what's right in between them? A huge, mandatory, non-negotiable gate that says human approval required. The system can suggest all day long, but it cannot act. A person always has to be the one to turn the key. So what's the right way to talk about all this? Because our language here really, really matters. We have to make a shift from these simple, intuitive analogies to the more formal, structured way of thinking that's required for any kind of professional work. Let me put it this way. Those intuitive models, where we might imagine the AI is thinking or understanding, they're like training wheels on a bike. They're super helpful when you're just getting started. But for any serious work, for audits, for safety checks, for making critical changes, you have to take the training wheels off. You need the formal blueprint. You need the engineering diagram, not the cartoon. And a source material could not be more direct about this. In any context that involves safety, quality, or any kind of real authority, using those simple, human-like mental models is explicitly forbidden. You can't use them in audits or for decisions that carry real weight because they're just not precise enough to guarantee safety and accountability. So the crucial point is this. There's a time and a place for both ways of thinking. Those simple analogies are great for helping people get started. But formal, rigorous system models, that's what allows organizations to operate safely, reliably, and to be held accountable. Which brings us to our final and I think most powerful conclusion. If what you're looking for is consistent, reliable, and safe performance, then trying to debate or reason with the model itself is completely the wrong approach. The power is absolutely in your hands, but it's not about arguing with the engine. It's about engineering the car. True control, true reliability, and true safety, they all come from the thoughtful design and the rigorous governance of the entire system that you build around the model. That's the correct mental model, and in the end, that's what truly matters.